Overall, retail sales went up 2.5% in the past 12 months. Sales that were actually down just in the month of October, as you can see on the screen. Peter Morici is with us now. How's it looking for the holiday shopping season, Peter?
Oh, I think we'll stay even from last year, maybe pick up a percentage or so, but it's consistent with the slowing economy. Wells Fargo Bank, for example, is predicting a 5% increase in retail sales over last year. Factor in inflation, you're either in neutral or just gaining a bit.
So that's not a very favorable outlook, really, is it? As you say, it's a slowing economy. But are we slowing into a recession, in your opinion?
It's very hard to say, I'll be honest with you. I think that we are. It's a question of when. We are running out of pandemic savings later than we thought. Initially, we thought we'd run out in October, and there's still some of that stuff around. But eventually, it has to go away. And at that point, consumers are behind inflation, especially across the northern tier of the United States, which are very important states in the election. And so I do feel that the economy will ultimately have a slowdown of a couple of quarters. Now, will the NBER call it a recession? Politics is going to be very interesting. I think it's hard to find an academic economist out there right now that is eager to see Donald Trump become president, therefore eager to say that the Biden economy is in a recession. So if it's a very shallow negative two quarters, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow or other it got kited.
Well, I understand. Let me go back to something you just said. Why is it that there's no relief for people in the northern tier of the country, that real wages are actually falling in the northern tier? Why there?
Well, my feeling is that across most of manufacturing, people haven't done very well. In a lot of service activities in the northern tier. Remember, we have a lot of these cities are depopulating because of the wonderful police protection you have in places like Chicago and New York. So the demand for labor isn't quite as robust. Over the time that Joe Biden has been president, prices have been up 17%, wages have been up 14%. That's not a big spread. But if you're someone programming in artificial intelligence, my goodness, your situation has dramatically improved. If you're a retired senior in Florida, or if you're someone making sandwiches in Chicago, probably you've fallen behind much more than that. You know, Joe Biden is very pro-union and pro-worker, so the UAW got a huge raise. Well, most of the people in Michigan are not going to be able to afford those cars. In fact, Joe is behind in Michigan by a lot.
Yeah,
in the state where he delivered the auto workers, he's behind by a lot.
That's very interesting. Good stuff, Peter Morici, today. Thank you very much indeed. See you again real soon. Thanks, Peter.
Take care.